Hello. Hello. Hello, everyone. Right then, let's see. Let's check if this is working. Yay, it is. And hello. Well, that's not working. That should be working. Ooh, it's working. Hey, good lord, how to try and give a guy a heart attack? I don't know. That's just cruelty. And that really should be a train, not a truck. But well, right. So apparently it's asking for my security token. So let me just enter that in because it's being very official me to me. Leslian, it's working. Yay! Thank you. I'm not sure why it's asking for my security token, but it is. You'll be glad to know I have just been informed as I logged in, and the reason it asked me for security token is it's just promoted me up a level. I'm not sure what Twitch means by promoting me up a level, but they have. Hello. Hello, listen. You've just finished work. That's good. How was work today? Right then. What I'm going to start with, I'll just quickly talk about today, because, as you know, this is my end of week relaxing time. And the question I had come through the other day was, if the British Empire, if Britain had built Agincourt, what would the Americans react with? And that was an interesting thing to think about, because if we go to the scenario where the Americans were in the world and what they were building, yes, this is the mighty super conqueror, which is completely ahistorical, but basically, if you end up watching today's video on YouTube, you will see it and will go, that's where it came from. Yep. It came from here. But this, of course, Agincourt, is the what I think a modernised, long lines of Warspite's modernisation, Agincourt, if it was an 8-gun ship, would have looked like. And the question was, boring paperwork. We had that all. That crops up far too often in life. The question was, what would the American response be? Well, that's an interesting scenario to think about. Because we've got, in history, we've got the South Dakota class. We know what they were going to be. We know that these vessels were going to have 4 triple 16-inch guns. Now, 12 16-inch guns would match in and compare in terms of broadside weight of fire to an 18-inch gun ship. But this one also can do 28 knots. Okay. Now, to be fair, the South Dakotas were being built in a time when the USN were really not worrying about the speed differential between them and the Royal Navy. It doesn't seem to borrow for them that much. They are building the Lexingtons. But let's go have a think about this, and let's have a think about what the USN might have done. I think they'd have taken the design. Hello, Ali. Listen, go take the granddaughter out for pizza. Definitely, granddaughter for pizza takes precedence over everything. Hello, Ali. So, I think the USN. Well, let's see instead of what. Again, we're going with a modernised dreadnought hull. And this is the American modernised dreadnought hull. They wouldn't have, definitely. let's be honest, they were aiming for 23 knots with the other vessels in a world where the Americans had to have known the RM were at least aiming for 25 knots with the Queen Elizabeth class. So if the Queen Elizabeth class comes out which is 28 knots, I think it's safe to assume the Americans go for a 25 knot design. Okay. And they're going to want to shrink the beam a bit because, let's be honest, they have to get through the Panama Canal. And also shrink the draft a bit because they're going to have to get through the Panama Canal. Now, they used turbo-electric power, so I'm going to have them up to that. Turbo-electric. These electric auxiliary systems. Oh, definitely. They were originally going to have 4 shafts, so I'm going to have the advanced shaft, the best system, and the electro-hydraulic brain. Now, they didn't have cramped quarters, and they certainly didn't have untrained personnel, so I'm going to put it to probably seasoned. Armor-wise, it would have been Crop 5, wouldn't it? But it would have been upgraded at some point. But how upgraded would the Americans have got? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be generous. Triple hold. Reinforced bulkheads. Max anti-flooding. And, well, if we consider the South Dakotas, their actual design was more of a turtleback arm scheme. So here we go. Now that's a bit narrow for that to fit. But that fits. Okay. Alright, and secondary tower. We want a nice big funnel. The original plan for the South Dakota envisioned it being a single funnel ship, so again, we will try and keep to that. We are building a South Dakota class in the... Basically, if I go back quickly to this, we're building what I think the South Dakota class would have looked like in a world where this is HMS Agincourt and she has ended service. Hi, Gosma. I know. The granddaughters always come first, Leslie. Let's be honest, if I had to go and look after my little... I had the choice between, you know, had a thing to go and look after my little cousins, I'd probably be off looking after them. Hello, Captain Gary, a.k.a. Runon. How you doing? And let's consider main guns. Now, this is the interesting thing, because the Americans do have different options. They do have some interesting options, and I think, honestly, I'm going to need to widen the beam, aren't I? I'm going to need to get back to that. Okay. Because otherwise I'm never going to fit the 16-inch guns on there. Main tower. Yeah. Oof. So that. Move that to there. And then let's see what we can get in terms of these, because I have a sneaking suspicion what I think the Americans would have done. I think, myself, the British would have found themselves facing something which, well, that's not too dissimilar to the actual original South Dakota class. I don't think the Americans would have built something which was exactly the same as the South Dakota. I think... Which one would be more likely? Or that one? I think that one. I think you end up with something like that. But I could be wrong. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like that. Now the ship is drastically overweight, so we now have to start working down on the systems. Engine efficiency is fine on natural. Barbettes we will want the best we can possibly do, but we probably go down a double hull. Reduce the weight. Rangefinders we need. American battleships usually have that level. RDF. Ooh, how much? Modernized South Dakota in 1940 is gonna have about that. Right then. Real life South Dakota's about a belt, 13.5 inches. So I think they might have gone up slightly more, but it's gonna go. I'm gonna put it down to 15 inches because there's a reason it's down to that level. Barbettes. Well, if we go to the turrets, they had 18 inches of armor on the side. They had roughly 5 inches of armor on the top. And they had barbettes of 13.5 inches. Their guns were 50 cal. So they're 16 inch. But currently, they are 50s. Oh, that's fine, and I'll leave them there. Full weight offset. How is the front heavier than the back? There's literally 3 triple 16 inch turrets there like there. How in name of all things holy is in some way the back lighter than the front? Sometimes I will never understand the analysis of this game. Full weight is still heavier. Okay, we will sort this out. We also do need some secondaries, don't we? We do need some secondaries, but basically this is what I think the Americans would do in response to the British producing a single ship with 18-inch guns, because the Americans could try and emulate it by going with the 18-inch gun project, or they could just upgrade their existing build project. And I think that's what they probably do. Upgrade their existing build project. Full weight offset 35. We'll sort this out. We will sort this out. When they start adding spotter aircraft, well, that's the interesting thing. They really start adding spotter aircraft in about the 1920s, but even at the end of World War I, they are starting to add in some things which would not be dissimilar to a spotting aircraft. I suppose you could do that. But I don't think it would fit. No. Now, I need to drop down by 5,000 tons. How do we think I'm going to get down there? Well, I think deck armor going down to about 6 inches. Probably sensible. Decks were between 3.5 and 5. 3.5 and... Well, decks were theoretically between 3.5 and 6. Conning tower was 16 inches. Superstructure, not that... well, we'll leave it at 0.7. Forebelt. Belt was between 8 and was supposed to be between 8 and 13.5, and I put it down to, well, if I took it down to that, Citadel armor, inner deck. Well, the inner deck is going to be about 2 and 1, and the inner belt, that's 13.5. That's going to be no more than, well, probably a third of that, so 4.5, and that's going to be 1.5. Right, I'm down to about, I've got 2,000 tons to find. Oh, good lord, that's fast reloading, but I will need to take that to that to reinforce target 1, and the torpedo probably down to about 3. Oh, can I make it a 4? No, 3. And now I've got some actual tonnage, I can actually add in some secondaries. Because I am supposed to have some 6-inch guns. I'm supposed to have a load of 6-inch guns on this ship. But let's be honest, it's been upgraded. So let's go with some 5-inch. And that's what we're going to do. It's going to have 5-inch twins. Because we are, you know, this is the American Navy. They love their 5-inch. There is nothing wrong with a good 5-inch. And frankly, I do not, you know, that's what I'm going to give them. So they now have 10 5-inch on each side. It's a very pretty game. It is. UAD physics engine is a bit strange. It is. But you know, you always want some 5-inch guns. And 21-inch torpedo tubes. I wonder if I could... No, I can't get a single deck launcher there. That would be so much fun. And the torpedoes we want to be 21-inch. Electrical turrets. Oh, they're electro-hydro, aren't they? Yeah. Let's see. And what range the gun's going to give them? Armor piercing range 28.3 kilometers. High explosive range 26 kilometers. Yeah, that's about right. So this is my theoretical South Dakota response to the Royal Navy building an HMS Agincourt after she's been upgraded in about the 1930s for a potential war in the 1940s. Very funny, Guardsman. Very funny. Yeah, she's a good-looking little ship. Full weight offset is still massive, though, and I have got to work on the full weight. I'm not sure how I'm going to work on that one. Let's see. Where is the center of mass? Center of mass is currently about here, and I need to get it back. So I am able to add on about 100 tons. I need to first of all delete some weight to start moving it back, don't I? Torpedoes are... Right then, that should move it slightly further along. It's now got the full weight down to 42%. Okay, what else can I do to upgrade put it? And I've got 200 tons to play with. Aft deck. we've pushed the yard deck up to 5.5 inches. Okay. Alright. What else can I do? But then I can't get in the five turrets, can I? This is perplexing, but not impossible to deal with. The US, well, in terms of systems protecting their torpedo, protecting from torpedo attacks, the US are about equal with everyone else. I would say they're not quite as obsessive. It's going to sound strange, but I would say the Americans put their bulges about where they need to be in terms of size. But I would say the trouble is that there are certain navies out there in the world, i.e. the Royal Navy, etc., which are so obsessive about it, it kind of makes everyone else look a bit, well, how do I put this, less capable. Literally just because the British are quite so obsessive about it. Not because the Americans are not capable or not thinking about it, but because the British are just so obsessive. It's one of those classic scenarios where you look bad in comparison because you're not doing the same as someone else is. Not because you're not doing enough, but because you're not doing the same amount that they are. Right then, so we have... We are 100 tons overweight somehow. We haven't added anything really on. What if I can do that? Full weight offset is now that, and I am 150 tons overweight. So let's take down the fore belt by 2 inches. Oh, still overweight. Some guns have poor sectors of fire. Well, yeah, but some that's giving me a large broadside. I see what you mean. You like putting up a net to stop mosquitoes biting you, and then the guy next door to you putting up 2 in it and puts a spider on them as well. Yes. It's, you know, it's that scenario. You've done perfectly adequate, perfectly logical protections, but the other guy has gone over the top. And it's like, we were having a discussion on my channel, on the YouTube channel, a while back, where it was about, and it was in the comment section, but it was about whether or not cruisers should have ASDIC. And, of course, the British cruisers did. And there was the whole thing of whether or not it actually is a true cruiser or a viable cruiser if it does or does not have ASDIC. And my point to people was that the British had Cressy, Abaca and Hogue happen to them. So yeah, their cruisers had ASDIC or hydrophones at the minimum, but often quite advanced version of ASDIC, because the British had lost 3 cruisers with a lot of crews to torpedo attacks. They didn't have that sonar on them so they could go hunting submarines. They had that sonar on them so they could avoid submarines and preferably hear torpedoes coming, which is why hydrophones were sometimes fitted instead of ASDIC systems. But the thing is, then they would turn around and went, well, the Americans didn't have them, so does this mean the Americans didn't build proper cruisers? No, it's just that the Americans were thinking the odds of a submarine lying in wait in the middle of the Pacific in just the right space of our cruiser wandering across is very low. And as a rule, if our groups are moving together, which we're planning them, i.e., if you consider when they're talking about their cruisers, they're putting them together as part of the reconnaissance force with the Lexington class, and there's going to be as destroyers around. So there's going to be destroyers, there's going to be all sorts of things around to hunt the submarines. You can see the point of not having the sonar systems. You can see the point of it. You can see where the logic is coming from. We're underweight, but forward weight is still massively, massively heavy. What can I do to rebalance the vessel? That's probably fair, 20,000 kilometers. Because let's be honest, the real live range of the vessel was 8,000 nautical miles at 10 knots, rather than 20,791 kilometers, which is 10,000 nautical miles. 8,000 nautical miles is roughly 15,000 kilometers at 25 knots. See, Karen. Also, the Royal Navy added hydrophones as they gone to some battleships, not just cruisers. Yes, but again, this is the point. The Royal Navy was obsessive because of Abercur, Cressy and Hogue. I've got them as far back as I can put them, really. Oh, the Royal Navy still fitted. Sometimes they fitted things to the carriers as well, and it's one of the interesting things about the Royal Navy. They will fit everything they can to everything in terms of its viability, because, especially against torpedoes. Because of Abercur, Cressy and Hogue. I'm not sure if they even realise they're still doing it. But when you start to talk about, what's the ASW fit on this ship? What's the anti-torpedo fit? And you're sort of going, yeah, it's got this, this, this. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Right. So, its forward weight is 17%. And we're now underweight. I'd say 25 knots. But what are we going to do to get the weight back? We can now put 2,000 tons aft, apparently. I'm not sure where that's come from, but we can. Aft deck is up to 6 inches. Aft belt, we can start sort of upgrading. Let's see at what point do we get to that we're bigger than the main belt. It's going to have a very, very thick, very protective armor cladding on this vessel. The aft belt is now the same thickness as the main belt. Okay, the full weight offset is now 0.4%. Can I add in some more? There are no casemate gun positions that I can really add in. So let's go to secondary guns and let's add in some 40mm. I know they're technically 50mm. But, yeah, I'm going to add in some. Slowly getting there. Slowly. I'm going to make a triple barrel mount and see what I can do. They're literally all being mounted aft to try. It's terrible from an air defense perspective, but I'm trying to balance the weight. It's the turrets. Yes, well the trouble is the turrets at the back. There are 3 of them aft and it's still less weight than forward. No. Sea turret is not going to become wing turrets. No. We've got the superstructures now. It's now overweight. The superstructure is now more heavily armoured. And I'm going to leave it at 0.1%. Ali, sir, we have some space on our carriers. Only say, yeah? Oh, yes, Simpkins? Yes, sir. What should we do? Add a full anti-submarine warfare suite. Is that right, sir? Did I stutter, Simpkins? Well, that's pretty much the British policy, and that you can start to see why when you start to think about, well, what are the British scared of? And the British are permanently scared of submarines. There's a reason they take anti-submarine warfare as obsessively as they do. Have we got torpedoes on the ship? We haven't got torpedoes on the ship. Were US battleships still carrying their torpedoes by World War II? Because I'm worrying about including torpedoes when I could include more 5-inch guns. They didn't have any. They didn't carry any by that point. They didn't carry any by that point. And they'd lost theirs by that point, it seems. So yeah, I think I'm being wrong including torpedoes. I don't think the torpedoes would have survived. Okay, well that's going to be annoying from a war perspective. Well, not really, actually, because that gives me an extra 100 tons. So, can I do something with some 5-inch guns? Can I put some twin 5s? In there. Now, this is starting to look like an American battleship. Admittedly, now, this ship does have a lot of twin 5-inch guns. Yeah, I know we're overweight, but the full weight offset is 2.7%. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm 15 tons overweight, and the full weight offset is that. So I need to somehow take down the full weight just a tad. Again, it's the full weight going down. Yeah. And yeah, I know I'm on 1.7% offset, but, you know, now this ship has... It looks like an American battleship which has been modernized, doesn't it? It does look like an American battleship which has been modernized. Let's go and hide me a little bit more, a little bit better at the top. Ooh. And yeah, see? She looks like an American battleship that's been modernized. I have swapped a lot of 5-inch for 40mm. I know, I swapped a lot of 40mm for 5-inch. Oh, seriously, this thing is carrying so much fun. So many 5-inch guns. It's like 3, 6, 7. There's 28 5-inch guns on this ship. So there are small flotillas of destroyers which would cease to exist with one broadside. Anyway, let's see. Her gun range is 28.3 kilometers for armor piercing. And she's got 16-inch 50s. 18-inch 45s have a armor-piercing range of 33.3 kilometers, and that's roughly where I think the British were heading with, because all the other guns they're developing in time, I know we have the 15-inch 42, but the guns which are coming afterwards are all longer than 42-inch, 42 cal. So I think if and they say they get the technology from somewhere. Well, the only program which could be done would have been the 18-inch, but of course we know the 18-inch was cut down to try and fit it on Furious, and then that failed dramatically. They're 4.5-inch 43 cal guns. They look weird as anything, and there's only 6 of those. But yes, this many 2-inch 37s. Let's see. To make them down to 40 mil, what would I have to do? 2-inch. Can I take them down? So 40 mil is 1 and 15, which is 1 and a third, 2/3. So 1. Let's go with 1.6 to get the 40 millimeter. Yeah, they are 40 millimeters. We will hope that will work. I have 6-inch guns. No, getting rid of you. Alright, so aft weight offset. And ship is overweight, but it now does have a lot of 4.5-inch on it. And it's overweight by 23 tons, so aft weight offset 2.3%. Yeah, we'll leave it. We'll leave it all. Let's go. Let's launch and see what happens, because frankly I think they'd be fairly evenly matched. I don't think the Americans would have stopped there if the British had an 18-inch battleship, but I think this might have been what the Americans would have done to the South Dakotas. Oh, I do love this ship in action. It looks great. But you have got 8 18-inch guns versus 15 16-inch guns. To my mind, the weight of fire is definitely on the side of the American ship. That is a lot of firepower coming into range. Please don't run in close. You're in 4.5-inch range. You do realise if you're in 4.5-inch range of him, he's in 5-inch range of you. Oh, frick. I think an 18-inch shell got a lucky hit. I think an 18-inch shell got a lucky hit. Yeah, let's replay. And let's find out what happened. Shall we? So, he got a lucky shot. Now, I will say there is something to my mind that if you look at this, you've got 2.1% due to engine vibrations, smooth sea waves, etc. But you've got all these advantages in terms of hitting. And gun recoil, of course, has an impact. Let's go have a look. This is the American. Someone actually said to me also the other day, what would have happened if there were multiple of them involved? I have no idea what happens if multiple of these ships are involved in a fight with each other, if there are multiple Agincourts in a fight. But, yeah, it would be interesting. Of course, America doesn't have the same limitations imposed as Germany, because Germany gets the Treaty of Versailles whatever happens. The Washington Treaty doesn't necessarily have to be as the Washington Treaty is. Ooh! I think there's some hits being registered already. And... oh! Yeah, there's definitely some fire coming from somewhere. Oh, that's not a good position to have fire. Ouch. That's hurting me. I'm starting to think that maybe the 18-inch battleships have an idea when it comes to closing. Because the thing is, if they get a hit with an 18-inch shell, there isn't pretty much that's going to withstand it. And the closer you get, the even less likelihood that something's going to happen. This is just getting painful to the watch, almost. But yeah, got in the 5-inch range. Ow! Seriously, Rhode Island, you're going for it. You might actually get the victory this time. It's luck. Agincourt has sunk this time. As said, they're fairly even. If Agincourt gets a lucky hit, then they do. Then it's interesting times for both. Interesting times indeed for both. Let's see. Anything there? No. And they're both good. Let's launch it again. Oh, I would not want to be in either of the Yamatos I've designed with the against these. Either of these. Agincourt did, I think it was 3 for 3 against the Yamatos. It's nice water sound. 5-inch more like ramming range. Yes, they were getting... Again, this game, the AI's changed, because the AI on the version which I used to do testing with, which was one of the original AIs, would keep you at engagement range. It wouldn't try to get within... I'm not sure what you can call that range, but it was definitely not, you know, friggin' close. Battleships don't behave like this. Not in this period. They turn, they start firing at each other as much as they can. They're not trying to get... Look at this. If I go up here. Because you can see the ranges. There's the 1.6 inch range. Now we're at the 4.5 inch range. And this is the 18 inch range. And this should not be getting... Let's put it this way. That's at the 2-inch range and the 5-inch range. 11 kilometers range. Yeah, that's just... It's just not... Yeah! This! No! Stay out of that range. Oh god, 4.5 inch guns are in range again. And this time Rhode Island is... Yeah. The pre-dreads would fight that close. I do agree, I do agree, Ali. And I think that's one of the problems. It used to be too programmed. The AI was programmed too much in favour of the long-range engagements, focused on the dreadnoughts, etc. and afterwards. Now it's almost focused too much on the other way. But if we go exit this, no, not play again, and we change this to USA and this to Japan. We've got this is the USA battleship. And here is Yamato. Because, frankly, the Japanese couldn't build much better. And you notice that's got only 9 18-inch guns. And their maximum range is 24.4 kilometers. Whereas the maximum range of these 16-inch guns is 28.3 kilometers. So we'll see what happens. Basically, if she gets in the 5-inch range, if anything gets in the... This thing has so many 5-inch guns that it could take on an entire fleet of destroyers with nothing but its 5-inch guns. It's literally at that level. To be honest, Agincourt. The question you have to ask is what's Hood doing in a group with Agincourt and the Tribals? Because Hood can go a lot faster than Agincourt could. But also, Hood's not really needed when you've got Agincourt around in terms of firepower. Agincourt's top speed is 28 knots. I basically went, right then, what's the... When I was looking at Agincourt, I was going, right, and what are the British looking for? The British are looking for something... The British at the time have geared turbines and they have small tube boilers. They could get 28 knots. The thing is, you would have Hood doing something, doing one thing, and Agincourt doing another thing. But also, there's the fact that if in a world where Agincourt is built and she has 18-inch guns, the question becomes: does Hood still keep to having 15-inch guns? In a world where HMS Agincourt comes into service with 18-inch guns, what guns does Hood end up having? If it's the forward armaments. I think I'm going to have to fix the forward armour. I think it could be that this ship has a weakness in terms of the forward armour. So let's see if I can't fix that. And then I'll go back and... yeah, retry Battle Lost. Let's try and fix this. How would I fix this? What can I do to fix it? The forward is still heavier. I don't know why the forward is so heavy compared to the aft. So much heavier. Now it's so fat it's never fitting through the Suez Canal, or the Panama Canal, but we'll see what we can do. Let's see, what can we do? We currently have no secondary turret on the ship. Aft weight offset. let's go for... I need to find a way of fitting a secondary tower. Where am I gonna fit the secondary tower? That's the question. Move this forward just a tad. And I go this. Goes back to this one. I put it in this one. Does that take up sufficiently less space that I can get it all to fit? This is the question. I've got no funnels. That would explain an issue I am currently having. Oh, now the full weight offsets up to 25%. Oh, how am I going to balance that out? Yeah, I think if a Deutschland class saw HMS Agincourt coming over the horizon, then they would probably be crying, especially as if I raise the third turret from the front. I have been considering doing that, but it's the engines. It's got to be the engine weight which is driving everything up. So can I put this back to here? After weight now up there. I can now move this back to here. I can move those. I can sort out the secondaries in a second. I can sort out these secondaries in a second. Full weight is now 7.8%. Okay, let's see what we can do with the secondaries. We are overweight as well. How much are we overweight? Let's go. Let's have a look at the things. Main deck, aft deck, foredeck. Again, if we go to the South Goticus as our guide, 3.5 inches. I can take the South deck F4 deck down to 3.5. Give me about 1,000 tons differential. Half weight offset now 2.9%. And I want to try and upgrade the foredeck to bit to balance it all out. But the aft weight is only 1.2% down. Okay. We will now then take her. Because she's still as far as she was. She's still at 25 knots. She's not quite as much 5-inch Dakar. Not quite as much, but hang on, not particularly bad either. And she's capable of doing 15,224 kilometers at 25 knots, which is quite competitive compared to the 15,000 kilometers at 10 knots, which the actual South Dakotas were designed for. And we will call this, let's see, we will call this my favourite battleship not built. Because I just... this is just going to sound strange, but the amount of rude things that sailors could come up with for that name would be obscene. Turbo-electric engines. Plus 9,900% in engine cost per weight. It's very survivable, but yeah, if you drop a knot, you look at the way your weight drops down. You've saved yourself almost 1,300 tons, and you can do some interesting things with an extra 1,300 tons. So I suppose you're making the case that what happens if they kept it to 23 knots and they just went, right, let's add up the armor to make it as capable as possible. I suppose you could also it needs to be a little bit higher. Just because I think this ship should have the maximum possible DACA. It's an American super battleship. It should have the maximum possible firepower. And let's... full weight still... we'll start up in the aft. Put it up at 6. And can we take that up to 13.5? Aft off weight offset 0.8%. That will do. That will do very nicely, thank you very much. We've still got weight forward that we could put into something. I think we leave it as is. Let's creep it up. Half weight now. Offset is 7.2%. That's a lot of half weight offset. And full weight offset is now. Oof. 7. Let's take the full belt up a bit more. Can we get it to a point at which ooh, close. I think that's going to be about as close as I can get it. This thing does make the standards look sad. But this is based on a South Dakota the South Dakota class as planned, which is what I think their response to an 18-inch armed Agincourt would be. So let's see what happens. Yeah, I'll move it, but the reason I tended to leave it in the center was because it was getting in the way of things. If I put it on the side when I was designing stuff. I'm happy to move if the face cam's in the way, I'm happy to move it around. And the main reason I have the face cam is because then if the dogs jump up, you can see them and they go, hello. See, look, the face cam at that point then starts blocking that bit. Return to flagship. You are faster than you probably should be to go through the Panama Canal. This would certainly change Panamax. This ship would certainly have changed Panamax, definitely. Oh, good lord. I think it got within firing range first. I should probably say this thing is as close to a floating lump of steel as you can probably build. Yeah. You love the ridiculous thing. Yeah, quite a lot of people. It makes, let's put it this way, the pagoda mast makes sense in the age when everything is on visual identification. And actually, if you want a good look at what sort of the thinking that leads to the pagoda mast, go have a look at Nelson and Rodney. Because you can see the exact same line of thought in the design of them as is eventually in the actual pagoda mast. 18-inch shells are just mean. You see, there is part of which thinks this game really does load it in favour of the 18-inch shells. Let's go back to this and just check. Yep. Launch. And by the way, you should find there are cannon buttons and various other things in the thing. I am starting to get more used to Twitch and working on my Twitch skills, as it were. So let's see, in the 18-inch versus 18-inch battle, 9 versus 8 guns. 3 triples versus 4 twins. A classic example of the turrets versus each other. Please note, this Queen Elizabeth class looks good, upgraded with 18-inch guns. That thing just looks a case of, hello, goodbye. Oh, you're here. I do love the gun sounds. They do it very, very well. Ooh. Why have you got in the 4.5-inch range again? Just don't. There's nothing I can do about it now. That secondary range, he's got 6-inch guns. You haven't. It's the problem. If left on AI, it closes into... Okay, so let's do some control. I suppose this is where the whole controlling your battleship comes from, because you have to keep it out of that, you know, stop it from closing into short range. But this is the thing, when I design the things, because I'm playing them through the missions, you end up designing your battleships completely different than they did in real life. Because at the moment, you are having to either micromanage everything, or you have to go, right then, I have to design this for the difference that is the systems. What the... How the frick did it... Did it just two-shot Yamato? No, I was trying to do a history presentation here and it two-shotted her. Yes, restart. Play again. I think it's being driven by Dalrymple Hamilton. Yes, unfortunately, if it's being driven by Dalrymple Hamilton, he got HMS Rodney from a theoretical top speed of 23 knots to a practical top speed of 25 knots something. So what would he manage to do with a 28-knot battleship in terms of top speed? It could well be that Dalrymple Hamilton would have his HMS Agincourt operating at the same speed as, you know, Hood at 31 knots going, hello, we're motoring along at 31 knots. It did the first time you run. Yeah, it's the 18-inch shells. It really does make a world for a very different battleship scenario if you're dealing with 18-inch shells, because we think and treat the scenario where Hood is basically sunk by Lucky BB as a one-off scenario, and it is. It's very rare. But it's also a scenario which you have to sort of think of going, well, if you're firing 18-inch shells at each other, how much more likely are you to do that? Because those things, an 18-inch shell hits, it's a whole lot of thump. As you see, what I'm doing is manually keeping it out of secondary ranges. I'm not sure why my 4.5 inch is firing, but we'll just ignore it. Yeah. Hello, Juno, and the Blackburn is following me here. I'm gonna have to transfer across the whole all the emojis I've developed for the YouTube channel to here, aren't I? So you have the Blackburn emoji and everything else going on. So, main gun accuracy, 48%. Average armor penetrated, 23.6 inches. Oh. So, yeah, we've established that that it is sinkable. But apparently, this is not managing to sink the Yamato for some reason. And I'm not sure why. Because theoretically, its guns are longer range. So let's go to... Is it? I wonder. Because that can do 23.7 knots. And that can do 27 knots. Hello, Cannon. Thank you for the subscription, Captain Gary. I think literally we are seeing the difference of the range, the speed. So let's change the scenario. Let's change it to make it slightly more accurate. Because the Americans would have at least 2 sitting along. And let's be honest, they are planning on building 6 of these. So let's say they get 3 along. The Japanese would never been able to build more than 2, so probably would have had 1 available. Incomparable would be an interesting scenario. I think actually Agincourt might win against Incomparable, but we'll leave that to one side. That might be my pride in Agincourt. But let's launch this and see how this works in a real-world fighting scenario. Where the Americans have avoid torpedoes, Division 3 is under AI control. We have Iowa, South Dakota, and Massachusetts. So, Iowa flagship. Let's see whether this works like I would expect it to. Because, no Washington, how rude, no. It's the least I can do, Dr. Locke. I'm trying to get my ankle brace on side me. Oh, thank you. Well, good luck with the ankle brace. I still highly recommend these things for repairing ankles, but I think that's probably a little bit further on in the healing process. Or hopefully healing process. But yeah, these ones from Waspo, really good when I hurt my ankles in various scenarios. Thank you. Now, you are against 45 16-inch 50 guns. I do not see how, in this scenario, I would not be charging in. Really be a good time to be this particular battle. I think someone can actually do the cannon thing, and I probably wouldn't hear them about now. I'm going to take the desktop audio down just a fraction, because I can't hear me thinking over the noise of that. It's still gunning for... It really doesn't like Massachusetts, does it? It's really going, you know, Iowa's the one at the front. But no, not more than that. I'm going to aim for Massachusetts. I'm going to... That was past point-blank range. That was the death rattle of the ship, isn't it? Oh. Right. We can now do a random one, okay? There's a very random one we can do. And this is a completely hypothetical, because... basically, in this world, the Royal Navy have built Agincourt, and they have built a battle crew, they have built a hood. And the Americans, of course, have built their ships. And we're going to see what I think a hood would have looked like if this thing exists in the world. Because I'm fairly certain if there is a battle cruiser in the world after something like that has appeared, then things are going to be pretty darn interesting. Because, again, considering how the British had acted, were acted with... Well, had acted after the Queen Elizabeth class and what they designed, I wouldn't be surprised if they then went for, let's fit the same thing as we've done to Agincourt to a battlecruiser. And of course, this battlecruiser has been upgraded. That's not getting fitted. That's about right. I think in a world where that one's 28 knots, this one's going to be at least 35. I think her beam's going to be a bit narrower. She'll be upgraded armor-wise. That, at least a double bottom. Total range anti-flood. All or nothing, because that's what basically Hood was. Standard reloading, no enhanced. Electro Hydro, because yes. Let's go check the guns. They're standard size, increased ammo. Armor. Oh no, that's not the battleship I'm using. I'm using Agincourt. Fine. What's she using? She's using light shells, maximum armor piercing. Let's go for light shells, maximum armor piercing. And she's using, what's TNT 4, triple base? Yeah. Alright then, engine efficiency induced. Forced. 4-weight offset. She's 12.5% heavier at the front than she is at the back. Okay. Well, let's go to Hood and see what we can do in comparison. For what our 18-inch Hood would be. Now, the original Hood, of course, had 32 knots top speed. Had a 12-inch armoured belt. Now, that was for 15-inch guns, so that's... Well, let's be honest, that's 4 to 5 ratio, so this is an 18-inch. There are 3 more inches of gun, so I need to add on how many more inches of armor? I need to add on. That's 4 to 5. 0.4 times 6 equals 2.4, so I need to have about 14.4 inches of a main armor belt. Deck, was 3 inches. Yeah. Da 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 da. I should probably put that as again 3 inches again. And oh, now we need to upgrade the belts, don't we? That could go. Let's put that at 6 and see what happens. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Juno on. And conning tower not listed. Barbettes we need to go down to. Oh, we need to go down to the guns. The 18-inch gun, the turrets would have had a 50. Well, they had 15 inches of armor on that, so I'd reckon they'd have about 18 inches of armor. And our barbettes were 12 inches. And the top was... Oh, good lord, the top was actually quite heavy. It was 11 inches to the 15 inches. Oh, sorry, if you've got 4 inches down over 5, over 15... Oh, so... I'll divide, times that by 3 again, because that's 6. So it's 5 to 6. So I got roughly 10 out of 15, so I got roughly 2/3. So I could probably go for 12, at least. What guns? Oh, they're 49 caliber, and I have no idea where they come with 49 caliber from. But let's take them down to 45s, because that's more likely what the British would build. Yep, 45s. There's 2 funnels. There's currently only a single funnel, but I can add a second funnel. That gives me 208% of engine offset, engine efficiency. But I can probably take it down to from forced to induced. Maybe even to balanced. No, let's go to induced. And that means I can still add some more weight. Goodness gracious me, I can make this thing powerful. In a belt. We're going to make that 4, 2, and 1. And in a deck 1.5, 1, and 0.5. For weight offset, still 2%. Well, yes, but we're going to add in the secondaries, aren't we? And the secondaries are going to be upgraded, so we're going to have those lovely 4-inch guns again, which I sorted out last time to get them to 4.5 inch. So A, we're pushing them up to 4.5 inch. And B, they're currently 36. And if I go back to this, these are 43s, which is more likely. So take the 36 and put them up to the point at which they reach. That's 38. 40. Has I got the 43? 42. 43. Well, hey. Never asked that question. Juno, I never want to know how many of my students are watching. That always worries me vaguely. Vaguely worrying when my students are watching me. Now. Oh, and... Well, she has got 18-inch guns, so let's up the armor all the way along. Foredeck. That, yeah, that's, right. Let's launch and see what happens. Now, my hope is that I don't have to spend my time okay, let's just say this from front. If you saw these two approaching you like this, I'm fairly certain your first inclination would be, I've got to get out of here. I'm fairly sure my first inclination would be, I want to get out of this place. You're supposed to avoid each other. I know you're fast, but stop trying to run it. AIs! Stop being stupid. Okay, Monarch, what are you up to? Now, Monarch, what you should not be doing is trying to close range. Come on. Think of it. That is you are in a battle cruiser. Do not close. Come on, AI. This is the true test of whether your AI is actually paying attention to what you're in. Agincourt, please don't close either. But I do not know why you're doing this. Go. Acceleratum, Monarch. Acceleratum. Go away! Get out of here! Break up! Come on, mush, mush, mush! Come on, Monarch! You can do it! You can do it! Yes, Monarch! Come on! Come on! You can do it! Yes, Agincourt was using Monarch as a meat shield. You! No! No! Keep out of that 5-inch Dakar range! I have a feeling with Monarch this could be very interesting. Oh, let's just do it this way. At a certain point. Oh, for goodness sake, Agincourt, what are you doing? Agincourt's going down. Agincourt. Yes, because you closed the 5-inch range with them. Ah. And Monarch 6. Yes, exactly the same. Because you closed. Yeah, in nicest way. I crossed the T. I did everything you're supposed to do. But because they closed the range... I do have one thing I'd like to try. Let's see. What can we do with you, Monarch? I have. It's a battlecruiser. It's a battlecruiser. Oh. It is a battlecruiser. That's battlecruiser. It's having the same issue it has occasionally. It's decided I'm not selecting a ship of the required type. And yet, this is a battlecruiser. It might be very scary, but it is a battlecruiser. Let's see this. Let's say something really scary happens to the world. And the Royal Navy builds 2 of these. Yeah. Hey, excuse me a second. There seems to be a fluffy research assistant outside my door. Okay, come. In, come. Rolling. Rolling. In. In. Come. No, come in. In you come. Come. Don't wake him up. Go. You go in. Go in. Leave him. Sorry about this. Minor fluffy research assistant. Go on. In you come. Hello. You gonna behave yourself? You gonna behave yourself? Hello. Yes, I know. You're very happy. Sorry, fluffy research assistant was complaining that he wasn't being allowed to come to my office, and was currently torturing my sister. Right then. Oh! they've named the second one Hannibal. So it's Agincourt and Hannibal. Okay. Right then. Yep. We have Agincourt and Hannibal. We're hoping Agincourt is going to go cannibal on the enemy. We hope so. Ooh. Right then, we now know where the enemy is. In that direction. And we also know what we have to do. Stop letting the AI control. No, we're not going to let you control it. See the red line? It shows us where the enemy is. So you do not want to do is allowed to keep closing. Keep him at 16-inch range. Keep them into primaries range. That's what we're doing. They are definitely not battle cruisers. For starters, they can't hope to catch you, and with a speed advantage, you can dictate the range, and this is the whole point. The Agincourts should be able to dictate the range, like Monarch should have been able to dictate the range, to the point at which that frankly the 16-inch guns would be firing at the worst range for them, while the 18-inch guns could fire at the best range for it. Hannibal would have been very good against the Italians. Oh, good lord, what are you doing? That's the trouble. I leave them for a few seconds to go and check, and yeah, I should have left the AI in charge, but the AI likes to well, come on. Battle line continue. Go to maximum speed. And do this. And Hannibal has sunk due to its... Yeah. This is what this is the thing, though. It's because they're closing the range, and that's really frigging annoying. I might do 1v1 in a second of battleship versus battlecruiser and see what happens if I manage to keep the range out. You see, Agincourt spotted the enemy first, and then it's minutes later that the enemy spots Agincourt. And yes, I am steering towards the previous fall of shot now. They were long, so I'll go away. I prefer to not be in 4.5-inch range. I basically consider the moment we get into 4.5-inch range, I have done a bad job. You see, at this point, yeah. The game does do a proper job of distance, and that is good, but the AI is frigging annoying. Battlecruiser. Design ship. That is a battlecruiser. It is a battlecruiser. Design invalid because I... Okay, let's design her again. Copy. Now let me launch it. Oh, Sorry, I have a fluffy research assistant below me who's going, Papa, you're not giving me enough attention. Yep. Fluffy research assistant, take over! Fluffy research assistant, take over! Marines to the bridge to resist the fluffiness! Hey, caramba! Hey. Oh my god. Hello. You had a bad day. It's been cold and you've not been made enough fossils. Okay, alright. Hey, caramba. Oi. So, I might need your help here in this one, because if at any point I can't see the screen, just start yelling out if I'm getting too close. Or if the AI is letting me get too close and making me get too close. Seriously, at 35 knots, this thing looks like a speedboat. You know, licking my hand doesn't help. But it really doesn't. But thank you. It's a nice motif. It's kind of you to do so. Oh yeah, I would definitely think he could do a better job than the Would you say most of those aims were short? He keeps firing short, doesn't he? BB powered nuclear boilers, 40 knots? Yes. Yeah, I know. He is a interesting canine. The fact he needs a sweater. No, we don't want to be in 5-inch range. No. No. But, yeah, the other vessel has now sunk. Which goes to show that if... It's going to sound strange. If you... The only scenario where you'd have to handle them as if they're just losing the point of a battlecruiser. The whole point of a battlecruiser is I should be able to dance around them at speed. Hello, you. Yeah, you forgot. I'm supposed to clean out your eyes, though. Yeah, got it. Sorry. Bit rude, I know, to do this all to you, but he wasn't expecting it. You never expect it when you're on the camera, do you? You think you're safe. You think no one on the other side, the people on the other side of the camera will stop me cleaning your eyes out. But no, I still have to clean your eyes out. You can try and eat me all you like, but that's not going to happen. And also, I know you. You would never actually bite the hand that feeds you. You'd be worried you wouldn't get fed. I don't know. So, any other scenarios you fancy seeing me try and run with these, either the 18-inch ships or the American 16-inch ships? Because, ooh, that would be an interesting scenario. Let's go to the German Reich, 1940 battleship, and let's swap these around because I do not fancy being the German Reich. I don't feel like being here today. That's not in my scenarios I want to do. Let's see, we have got this. And this will be against what is probably the best the Germans could have actually produced at this point. A mildly enhanced Bismarck design. But let's be honest, the reason the Germans produced the Bismarck wasn't because of treaty or anything like that. Bismarck and Tirpitz. No. It was because of the fact that the Germans really didn't have the infrastructure to build anything bigger or more powerful any sooner. Because of the Treaty of Versailles. It happens, doesn't it? It does. You enjoying yourself? Ow! Oh! What? Eat! This is unarmoured, and 20-inch guns... Well, they do offer them, but honestly... It's not... There is a reason they have the 15-inch guns on the Bismarck class. People go, yes, they can produce 20-inch guns, but it's not just producing the gun. Yeah, I can produce a 20-inch gun barrel, great. But can I produce the system to stabilise it, and do I have the infrastructure in place necessary to build a ship large enough to stabilise and deal with it at sea? And that's the real thing. Basically, if you want to go for a 20-inch gun, in this game, you need to go for a super battleship hull, and there is no ability of the Germans to actually produce something of that size. Whereas the American design in this is definitely viable for production, and the German design is more than likely viable for production. I might have actually overstated it a bit. But, yeah, the thing is, they have got a few knots advantage in speed. But not as many as you might think. And this thing, of course, Massachusetts, as beautiful as she is, does have 15 guns. And I have often said that 15 guns is... Holy guacamole. On this scenario, I do not mind us getting into secondary range because of the sheer oodles of 5-inch guns I have fitted this vessel with, in honor of the fact that she is American. She has 12 either side, one pair centerline, which means she can still maintain those 14 5-inch guns on either side, on either, broadside, if she needs to. Let's go check on the... Yeah. I am sorry to say, whilst you are most definitely the faster ship in this engagement, your likely survivability is not very high. There are multiple reasons why. Your 15-inch guns are very cute, yes, but you've only got 8. And, you've got into 5-inch range. And there is literally no quicker way to lose your life than to get into 5-inch range with this ship. I have lost whole 18-inch gun battleships when they've got into 5-inch range with this design. Life, this range, if ships got to this range, this is what we call World of Warships range, not anything that happens in real life. Because in real life, if you get to this level of range, with guns this size, there is no armor. There is nothing which can actually protect you from what is coming at you. Good lord, Massachusetts lost. And this is the reason why. Because Massachusetts should have sunk that vessel, but she managed to get within range of the 5-inch. But even then, the 15-inch managed to get the kill, because the 15-inch got the lucky shot in. Which is why you don't close the suicidal ranges. Right then, let's do this properly. Right then. AI on, so we find the enemy, then I will take control. So the moment that drops down to 10 times 10. And we're actually in gunnery range. Good lord, they're firing at me first. I have 16-inch 50s. How in the name of all things holy are you firing at me first? With your 15-inch guns. Who has written the specs on the German 15-inch guns? I don't feel like closing. I feel like opening up my broadside so all my 15 guns can engage properly. We'll let him close. If he really wanted to reduce the range, he can, but I'm not going to help him reduce the range. In nice way, you're being fired at by 15-inch guns and you think you're engaging a light cruiser? Let's go have a check on this ship. So this is the same Bismarck which last week suffered versus Agincourt quite dramatically. Even the 6-gun Agincourt, let alone the 8-gun Agincourt. So what is she? Why is she? This has got many bulkheads. Yes, they are all reinforced. Stop that. Maximum of that. So what is happening? Why is it getting snookered? Range of its guns, as we can see from this, if you check, it's 28.3 kilometers in armor piercing. The German guns range is 32.5 kilometers range in armor piercing. So that's a significant advantage. So let's see, how do we sort these things out? Well, that's taken me up quite a lot. That's taken me up quite a lot. That's now up to 34.4. Still 34.4. Okay. Right then. let's start getting the weight down, because we're now several hundred tons overweight. What else can we drop down in weight? Drop the weight down just a tad. We're going to have to drop the speed down, aren't we? Full weight offset 7% now. She's got 6 inches on that. She's got that. Yeah, they're 16 inch 50s. Definitely overweight. Uh, 23.5. Let's try. That's overweight. 23.6. Full weight offset is 6.3%. I've got an extra. Seriously, how does to get it to 23.7 put on that much weight from 23.6? Let's take it down to 23.5 and see what do we get then. That takes down to 45,978. 23.6 takes up to 46,000. So yeah, that's a few hundred tons. Okay. 23.7 takes it up almost takes it up over 2,000 tons. How? And if I take it up by 224, takes it up only by an extra 300 tons. Excuse me, game developers on UAD, if you're watching this, I think I found a little bit of a bug. Just a small one, because whilst I do agree the required power and engine requirement to go faster does go up like that, at no point is it going to be a massive jump like that and then only little jumps to go extra faster. So take that down to 23.6. Full weight off 6.3%. Okay. Machine. And we have now added in all of those. I wonder if I can get triple. Oh, we get triple hull. Going really survivable at this point. And we've got an extra 1,000 tons still to go. What can we do? What can we do, A-Fluff? Let's take the main belt up a bit. Let's take the aft belt up a bit. And we'll take the fore belt down to 10. And that should probably do. If you notice, there is someone doing a very solid case. A very solid case is being made for them having another biscuit. A very, very solid case. And I have to admit, I'm going to be nice. So, we will now see if this ship survives versus the German. vessel, which itself has been beaten up many times. This ship, I would say, is about equal to the Agincourt in capabilities, etc., for the Americans at the time. It does show the advantage speed gives you in terms of controlling the range of engagement, which is one of the major lessons of World War One. Terrorism by cute whining will not be negotiated. Yeah. He's had a bit of a tough day. He's been bullied by his little brother, who he's not allowed to put. We basically taught him he wasn't allowed to do that to his little brother, which was his major defense against him. We didn't realize at the time. We were worried about his little brother when he was a puppy form. Now his little brother is bigger. His little brother nicks Riley's toys, and Riley's going, "But I can't bop you on the head with my paw, which is how I used to get rid of you." I don't think I'm going to have the same quality of control. Hello, yes, you're up. Yes. I need to control my battleship. Just, thank you. Stop being on the side of the Kriegsmarine. Why is it you're always on the side of the Kriegsmarine when we're fighting? What is it about their colours that you like? Return to flagship. Oh, please don't get into secondary range. What did I get hit by? A torpedo? No torpedo fired. How? How is it dealing this amount of damage that quickly? Because let's go back. Let's change this to our favourite British possibility would have been, this is something which Bismarck really wouldn't have wanted to fight. Oh, I could put it up against Conqueror. Yeah, that's just being cruel. Oh, I need to fix the pitch on Conqueror's design though, but you know. Conqueror is fun. I love where it's going. Select a ship of the required type. Yeah. That basically Conqueror is me being mildly evil to anyone who ever wants to fight me, because that is very, very big 18-inch guns. They are 49s. If I was going for mildly realistic, the maximum I can see the British doing with an 18-inch gun would be 48. So, yeah. And they are... Let's put it this way. They are capable of very long-range engagement. Very, very long-range engagement. I don't think I can arrange that, but I can arrange this. Opponent. Osridond. Now, let's see. Your guns have a range of 32.5 kilometers. Again, go back into design ship. You, no. Osridond. You, and 33.3 kilometers. So, it's not far off each other. Shall we do this? So you can better see if the fluffy research assistant is deciding to block the game. Now, the trick is theoretically, if you're fighting at range, is to keep your enemy in the best range for you. And the best range for me is as far away from his secondaries as possible. Because the moment you get within secondary range, you have a real chance that the primaries will just get a lucky, overwhelming kill. Right, we have got fire. We should, keeping them at range, maybe opening that range a tad. Opening that fire a tad range. Should... Looks like we're doing a lot of damage. But I'm still not trusting the AI to control this battle. Nah. should come. I think I got damage to my steering. But we did it. Again, though, I have to admit, this AI does make it more difficult than it needs to, because, again, if you were the Ostfriesland, would you really try and close to that sort of range versus an 18-inch gun battleship? Would you really think my survivability, my best chance of survivability and success lies with getting to within knife fighting range with that thing? You wouldn't. Hello. Can I put my hand on my mouse, please? Nah. Hello. Gorgeous boy. Yeah, you know, you try and get away from it. Ship stats. Both guns had accuracy of 49%. Second gun accuracy 59% for Agincourt. Ammo 64%. Main gun sailors 50%. So they'd lost some guns. If we go to the ship designer, let's see. Yeah, I have designed those turrets to fit with what I think they would have built at the time. You consider Hood's turrets, and the fact they are 11 to 15 inches for 15-inch guns. If you made this 18-inch turrets, it pushes up the weight dramatically. Let's see. I do have one little sort of idea to test out. I'm not surprised that's overweight, but I am mentally thinking that that would be a pretty scary if anyone had produced that in World War One, that would be nightmare apocalypse. Yes, the ship is overweight. I am not surprised the ship is overweight. It's currently toting 12 18.5-inch guns. It's down to 9 now. Ooh. I do not understand this system sometimes, because sometimes I say, why can I move? When I move that, that moves in relation to it, and I don't want it to. Hello, yes. Error, flaw. Let's go for a huge superimposed. Really massive, massive barbette. Because really it is an 18-inch gun, so yes, they do need a massive barbette, don't they? Error floor, error mount 2, and error center. What have I managed to muck up on this one? Ah yes, there's Agincourt back. Now let's copy the design. I take her to being overweight. What did she do to go up by 1,000 tons? What have I modified around, or have they kept from the modifications I just made? No, none of that's changed. The ship is not overweight. Ship should not be overweight. Gear turbines, auxiliaries 2, double hull. Reinforced bulkheads 2. All things I left it with. Electrohydraulic types. Coincidence, sonar, Ah yes, there's that. And I seem to remember they've gone up to 49s, and I had them down at 45s. And there you go. It's all fixed. Yeah, I do sometimes wonder if the game's drunk. The game gets... They're still... I think they're still sort of debugging it. Right, this ship is overweight, and we know exactly why. Go down here. But, yeah, I'm going to actually clear this all. And I'm going to go to... I wonder if I can build it on this one. Can I build it on an N3 G3 hull? Because that's not completely out of stock. Again, maximum shaft technology. If at any point my finger seems to shake in weird ways and we don't select the right thing, please note it's because someone is currently licking my hand. Alright, we want to be doing 28 knots. And we'll take that up. Range, we'll take down to that. Beam will shrink a bit. Because basically our plan is to go and have a look and go, right then, what happens? Oh good lord, they look dinky on here, don't they? I think someone wanted to see if what would happen if Incomparable was built, and honestly you could probably build an Incomparable on this. But you can't, you haven't got... Can I upgrade an 18-inch gun to the point at which it's a 20-inch gun? No. Let's see what we can put in here. So you've had some some upgrades. Let's see, what level upgrade have you had? Hello. Half-weight offset. Good lord. That's getting us some fast. Halfway offset is now 9 point something%. Okay, secondary guns. We want our 4.5 inch as again, so we will have to modify. Modify our lovely existing weapons. Hello. So that, and that. Enhance because well, we could go. Ooh. Okay, we're going really advanced. Okay, all right. We've had the full upgrade. This thing is now a nightmare in every single way. Range 32.6 shells. If I go light. Maximum armor piercing. Anti-flood. This appears to be the most powerful ship you can build of this type. It is definitely going to be interesting. Definitely interesting. Half weight offset 9%, so it's 9% heavier at the stern than it is at the front. Okay. And it's 62. It's 3,000 tons overweight, so I need to start reducing things down. Let's take that down to a double hull. Take that down to reinforced bulkhead number 2. Number 2. Number 4. And to enhance rather than semi-auto loading. Ooh, and that gives me a few hundred tons to play with. Which is useful because I'm probably going to need them to play with, aren't I? It does certainly look good, but this is... Remember, this is armed with 12 18-inch guns. So, if at any point you see a German ship going, we would like our money back, please, you know why. Oh! You don't get a biscuit for that. I'll be nice, but that was really not nice. Oh. Let's first of all make this all sort of realistic. So 21-inch armor? No. Maximum that'd be 18-inch. Might have 12 on the top. Would probably have, more likely have that round that. Let's start fixing the rest of the armor. Again, 18-inch gunship. Now, if I remember correctly, the armor I put on Agincourt was 16-inch main belt, and I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, that's about it. No, you're not extorting biscuits from me. You're cute, but you're not that cute. Yeah, I know, you'll be getting vengeance. Yes, I know you'll be getting vengeance. Let's go for the deck armor. Deck armor on Agincourt, if I remember correctly, is about 6 inches all the way across. Oh, there's 8 inches of four-deck armor. Okay, forgot that on the ship. I forgot how heavy, how armored its front is. No. And again, they're 49s, aren't they? And they wouldn't be 49s. Well, that's taken me down quite a long way, but let's see how far that's got down. You see, it's taking me down the weight, but it's not taking me down the actual caliber of the guns, because the calibers, I've decreased them by 16%. It should be a lot less than it currently is. It's claiming... Oh, this is just... Again, let's go and have a check on Agincourt and find out what I've done there, because I took them down to be 45s there, which is about right, and that time taking down 8%. Okay, to King George V. Take you down by 8%. Not 20%, 8%. And they are going to be 4.5s. And they are currently... They're 43s, and if I remember correctly, they're supposed to be 43s. I doubt they are 43s, but hey ho. Game beater. Hey! Someone's got a... Ali, you got a corgi emoji. I'm liking the corgi emoji. Well, I'm leaving Bismarck the same. And I am getting King George V ready for battle. So, Mini. That'll sort out that one on. Pitch is 20. Pitch is a factor of how much weight is spread out on the ship, isn't it? Woo! I'd like to have two funnels in here, and it's just not letting me fit two. It's supposed to be the largest you can get. No. Not even the smallest type of funnel I can get it will allow me to fit two in there. Just terrible. Terrible. Engine efficiency, 215%. That's on natural boilers. Engine efficiency, 100% on natural boilers. So diesel engines. That should be about right. And I'm 1,000 tons overweight. Can I reduce the beam a bit? Yeah, beam's down as low as it can go now. That gives me an interesting scenario speed-wise. And draft's down as low as it can go now. This ship is pretty darn shallow. Roll is 15% though. Still not giving me any... Reduced roll to 10%. But pitch is still at 27.6%. What can we do with pitch? And with those for 20mm, we will take them down to, as I did earlier, 1.6. 36. That's more like it. They are not 49 because I've got. I'm just not getting into this. It's fun balancing this game up. It really is sometimes. Everyone's going to need a picture of a Sukbad. Yes, everyone's going to need something. Guns like that. That's about right. So, what is causing the pitch to be quite so massive? Half weight offset is only 1 point at that. The weight is 2,000 tons over. So I do need to work on the weight and getting the weight down. Pitch is now down to... That takes pitch down to 24%. Pitch is now up to 27.1%. That's helpful. That gets pitched down, but halfway up to offset is massive. Yeah, I guess beam could be the answer. Let's maximum draft and beam, and we'll see what happens. Oh, she's chunky. She is really chunky. I mean, this ship is one chunky lady. Yeah, I'm a bit $1 billion. I'm not worried. It's not me paying the bill, it's the taxpayer. Let's take the super battleship, the modern battleship, number 1. Number 2. And go for... And again, we're going to go for 28 knots. Because basically, I'm now sort of thinking, well... in an Agincourt style world, let's say they stick with the 18-inch guns. And if they do, what happened then? I have no idea what happened then, but you know. Oh, did it reset? It reset. That's just annoying. Why did he reset? On what grounds did he have to reset? I do not know. Gear turbines, auxiliary free. Let's try with a maximum of self-protection. To start off with. As said. Inner belt. That's going to be 6. That's going to be 3. That's going to be 1.5. And we need... well, we need them to be as beamy as possible. And as deep a draft as possible. Just to make everything work, right? And, well... oh, I wonder if we can put... no! 2 mega funnels! Hee 2 little ones. Can I get 2 proper sized ones in here? Get 2 twos. 2 fours. 2 sixes. Can't get 2 sevens. There you go, 2 sixes. So, and yeah, I'm on. I'm certainly looking at that sort of scenario. We want. That's so now we've only got actually 12,000 tons for main armament. Nah, we've got for 14,000 tons for main armament. We've got to think about this one. That's about 3,000 tons. That's probably more sensible. You do notice how the main armor belt expands out, depending on where you're putting these guns, and that affects the weight. Aft weight offset 23.2%. Pitch 29%. This is going to be fun to deal with, so let's get rid of that for starters. Secondary tower, let's go for an advanced secondary tower. Aft weight offset. Well, let's go for a huge superimposed bar bet. Back here. So pitch 27%. Need a funnel. Aft weight offset now 4.6%. Engine efficiency 82%. I'm not sure how we're rolling or anything in a Seaway because this thing is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. I don't know why the pitch is at 28%. It's telling me the pitch is at 28%, but it's not telling me necessarily why the pitch is at 28%. I would say it should be the actual spread of everything. But then that should have taken it down because I've condensed everything together and it's now saying it's 29%. And now I've got the ship balanced. But I've still got 28.2% of pitch. Metacentric heights. Nope, hasn't affected at all. It's just added actually to my weight issues. And frankly, something that this fat versus that tall should not be that affected. Now, let's go check the guns. We have, I think we're going to make those. We were going to make those 18 inches as well, but we're going to make that 9 inches and that 12, and they are 18-inch 49. So we're going to take those down. I think we took them down 8%. Took them down 8%. And these are 36s, and they have to go to 4.5. And that now 38. Almost 20%, if I remember correctly, about. To get onto 43% of 43s, yes. There you go. Well, the aft offset, weight offset, is only for 1.6%, but you could. Aft weight now offset, now 1%. But that's still only taking the pitch down to 28%. And if you look, the center of mass lines up about with the center of the funnel. Which is pretty darn good, really. Pretty darn good, he says. Maximum armor piercing. Barbettes. TNT. Triple base. Increased number of shells. Thought I'd make it so, or that would make it all way. Electro Hydro. Yeah. Let's see how, with 30% pitch, frankly, she shouldn't be able to hit a darn thing. And I still don't know why she's got that pitch. Shall we try, just quickly, and see, considering how far over we are in time-wise, dealing with us, to see how it goes. Shall we? Let's make sure our enemy is the Ostfriesland. This will either be this ship is, of course, is pretty much perfect. Pitch 12.8%, you know, so it's barely going to be moving in the sea. Why is it 30% pitch? The aft weight is only 1% heavier than the front, so it's going to be saddled down slightly at the aft. What is causing the pitch? What is causing the pitch? I have no idea. Let's launch and see. So, and this is a world in which Agincourt exists, and in which they, instead of setting 16-inch guns as the maximum, they set 18-inch guns as the maximum. See, the thing is, the pitch almost doesn't seem to be affecting it that much in this actual movement. It should be making it absolutely tip up and down, but it's not. Let's see now. Let's see. Go slower. Nope, still no effect on it. But look at that bow wave and the trough. Look at that trough. Just so you know, the thing coming towards you has 18 inches of belt armor. Yeah. My theory is at the moment that with 18 inches of armor, even at this range, this is getting very World of Warships engagement. This is definitely World of Warships engagement range. Yeah, I'm not surprised with 18-inch shells hitting it. Ooh, hello, yeah. Right then. I think we're gonna call that an evening. I think we're gonna call that wrestling with UAD enough for one evening. And thank you very much, everyone. My work week is now over. I am going to go off, and I will see you again on Twitch on Sunday. And I will see you on YouTube live on Sunday. And there's a recorded video out tomorrow night. Plus, if you want to go see where some of the ships from tonight's video did come from and what they got used in terms of YouTube filming this week, you will find them in a YouTube video that went live this evening. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and take care. Thank you, Ali Loves History, and thank you to Guardsman. Thank you to who I would call Runon, but who is someone else on Twitch. Thank you to CD Cameron. Thank you to Leslie. Thank you to everyone for watching, and Captain Geary. And thank you, Big Brzezinski. Thank you, everyone. Toodles. And sorry if I missed anyone during the chat. I was sometimes a bit absorbed. Take care. Thank you. Do you want to say goodbye? You going to say goodbye to everyone? You are? Okay. And bye-bye from the poodle in, well, the fluffy research assistant in the sweater. You tired of me wanting your dinner now? You're going to behave properly. Good boy. Toodles.